Hi, I'm Andy from Safes Unlocked in Belfast, and a few people have asked me to show the progress we're making on the Dial Decoder. Now, this isn't a auto dialer that tries all the combinations at random. This has a sensor that feels the lock. So it moves the lock to different positions, and then it feels and measures the contact points. It does that quite quickly, so it can open a lock in about under 10 minutes, I'd say. This is a Group 2 3-wheel lock, and I just want to give you a demonstration of how it works. So the device is all controlled by the app. It's an Android app, so it connects by Bluetooth, and there's a password, which means the device is secure and we know who's got it. And the first thing we need to do is home it. So to do that, it's asking us to set the high contact point. So we'll find the high contact point. I've marked it here to make it easier to see, but you're doing this by feel. There it is, and then I'll hit set. And we'll repeat that for the low contact point, set, and then 0. I think that's about right there. It's quite important to get that lined up nicely. And it also gives you the option if it's a 3-wheel lock or a 4-wheel lock. In this case, it's a 3-wheel lock. So then we'll move on to choosing the scan method. And there's 3 ways that you can analyze the lock. One is the classic auto dialer, so that tries all the combinations. That takes quite a long time. And this machine can do that, but it's not really what it's designed to do. It's designed, as I say, to measure the contact points. So to do that, there's 2 ways of doing it. One is the collective wheel scan. That moves all the wheels together, and it looks for a gate. And then, once it's found a gate, then you do a second scan to identify which of the 3 wheels it's on. The other way, more common way maybe, is an individual wheel scan. That isolates 2 of the wheels and just scans on 1 wheel. So let's have a go at doing that and see what that looks like. So I'm going to hit start scan on wheel 1. It gives us a warning to make sure our fingers aren't going to get chopped off. And it's off and it's underway. So it's going through around 30, says here 39 different measurements it's going to take. It's measuring every other dial scale, so normally that would be 50, but because this is wheel 1, there's a no-go zone, so that means that it ignores some of them. And you can see the progress bar here on the phone as well, so it tells you how far through the operation it is. And you can see pretty quick, this is something that would take an experienced manipulator maybe 5 or 10 minutes to scan a wheel, maybe a little bit less. But as I say, this can go through all 3 wheels in about 10 minutes. So let's have a look at how the results look at. So it gives us a graph of the results, and to start with, it may look a little bit confusing and a little bit unclear what's going on. But the blue line is the high contact point, the red line is the low contact point, and the green is the gap between the 2. So actually we've got a really nice clear signal here. You can isolate these lines. Sometimes it's a little bit more confusing, and there's a shading function as well to give clarity. So you're looking for high red, high green, and a low blue, and you're looking for that kind of spike. So that's pretty confident, I think. We can say that's our candidate there, number 69. So I'm going to select that as a candidate. And I didn't press it properly. There we go. So head back to our scans. And now we'll do wheel 2, start the scan. And this takes a little bit longer because now it's doing 50 wheels, 50 positions rather. And it's also got to move the wheels further each time because it's measuring the middle wheel. So it has to do a little bit of extra manipulation. But while it's doing that, it gives me the chance to tell you that this is powered by 12 volts, and it's going to come with an adapter, which means you can run it off a drill battery, so it's totally portable. As I say, it's not like an auto dialer which will run for hours on end, so you can run it off a drill battery quite happily. You're going to be running it for about 10-15 minutes. The app data is only stored in the app. There's no connection to the internet. The only thing it connects to is Bluetooth, so there's no issues about privacy and security. And when you finish the job and find the code, it deletes all the data off both the device and the phone. So again, no worries about data privacy and security issues. And the aim really is that it becomes the go-to tool when you get called out to look at a dial safe rather than drilling. This is quicker. It's cheaper because you're not worrying about the cost of drill bits, and it's non-destructive as well. So this is taking about, I think this takes about 2 minutes, the wheel 2 scan. We're almost there. It works with an Android phone or tablet. The sensor that I've designed is actually patent pending. So that's quite a novel and interesting part of the technology. Okay, so it's done the second wheel scan. Again, I think once you've got a sense of what these graphs look like, you get an eye for spotting it straight away. So this here looks like the candidate, again, high green, high red. I'll put the shading on as a reminder, high green, high red and low blue. So that's our candidate there, and we'll hit select candidate. And we'll go and do the final scan. Actually, before I do that, I'm just going to show you the other features. So the auto dialer function. So maybe if you've got 2 of the codes, you might think, all right, well, the best thing to do now is go to the auto dialer. So the auto dialer gives you a very hands-on way of choosing which numbers you want to do. So this is wheel 3, the one wheel that we haven't explored yet. So you could choose to do them all, just the odd ones, just the even ones, or you could even do every 5. So if, for example, you've got a couple of numbers, one is 50 and one is 60, then you've got a pretty good hunch that the next number is going to be a multiple of 10. So this is a way of cutting the numbers down. If you look at wheel 1, it's remembered the candidate that we chose when we were looking at it. So you've already got that remembered in there, and you can actually do like +1 or plus and minus 1 or plus and minus 2, 3, 4 and 5, and that gives you a little bit of range if when you're looking at the candidates you weren't quite sure or you're worried that the lock is a little bit loose. So that's how the auto dialer function works, and you can also choose individual numbers or delete them as well. But let's go back and do our final scan. So we're in the individual scans, and I'm going to show you some advanced features here. So this is something you can do with each of the wheels, not just the final wheel. But if you've got candidates already discovered, you can enter these here, and that will move the wheels to those positions so that it's measuring with the lower framework of a gate on those positions. So I hit 69 in there, and it's reminding us here wheel 2 is 61. 61, yeah. So that's one of the extra features, and the second extra feature is that you can park the wheels. So sometimes you don't get a signal because the adjacent wheels are higher in their resting place. And so this allows you to park the wheels at an offset of, say, plus or minus 20, so you could enter a value in there, and it will move the wheels to a different place and rerun the scan. And the other thing you can do is you can reverse the scan direction. That's useful if you've got a lock which is a little bit older, a little bit worn. Sometimes running it in the opposite direction helps. But we're going to hit it with those 2 candidates entered, and it's going to go through its routine again. And hopefully it will recognize the combination, and it will rather than show us the combination, if it stumbles across the combination while it's scanning, it just finishes and shows us the combination. If it doesn't, it turns out that those 2 candidates that we entered before aren't correct, then it will scan all the way to the end and show us a graph like we've already seen. Now, we're hoping to launch in, the products will be available in July. So if you're interested, then please head over to Safes Unlocked, and you can register your interest there, get on our mailing list, and we'll just keep you informed. It's not spam, it's just keep you informed of when the device launches. It comes in a gantry like this, so you can attach it to the safe with magnets, and all this rat's nest of wiring will be shrunk down to the circuit board that comes with it. It's all pre-built. I heard a click go there, and that's it. It's found the combination, and the app's telling us what the combination is. And you've got a couple of choices there. If it turns out that the lock isn't open, which it is, you can see, then you can carry on scanning. Otherwise, it said lock is open, so you make a note of the number. Our combination was 53, 61, 69. And you can clear it, and basically when I hit this button, that deletes, as I say, all the data off the phone and back to square one and off the device, so your clients don't have to worry about you having any record of their safe combination. So as I say, if you're interested, please head over to safesunlock.com This is a device that's obviously only available for registered and licensed locksmiths and safe technicians. But please give us your feedback, give us your thoughts, tell us if there are any features that you'd like to see explained again or in more detail, or any features that you think we should add. And really interested in hearing people's thoughts, and get on the mailing list so that when we release the product and put it out for sale, then you'll be the first to hear about it, and there'll be some early bird discounts as well.